We're live.
Aren't you playing the video first?
It of last year, it's going to make hundreds of fucking millions of dollars.
No, it's not going to be that big.
Yeah, sure, but it's going to be.
I'll call it right now, bro. It's not going to make
personally-
anywhere near it money.
So, for the record, and you guys were talking about how well this needs to be, it doesn't need to do too well to be the best in the series. The highest grossing Halloween in the franchise is 2007's with 58 million. That's total.
Yeah.
So I would hope it would do that. I would hope it does that opening weekend at least 58 million.
No, I disaspray.
Really?
I think it'll make 40, maybe 50 in opening weekend.
I'm not with you on this one, dude. This movie, especially coming out in
Guys,
October.
look, I get horror fans love it.
Quiet Place is like
there are
120.
there are not that many of us. Like there's
No,
Dude,
like,
Quiet Place is over 100.
audiences. It makes I don't like in the wildest of imaginations. I would imagine it makes 60. In the wildest of predictions.
I'm not saying that you might be absolutely right with it not necessarily reaching it. I think it's going to get close, but it's definitely going to smoke some fucking money on for opening weekend. And it's going to, like CP said, A Quiet Place made like 150. This better get close to it.
I'm not a fan, but I think 58 is pretty easy to accomplish on the opening weekend alone.
In its total domestic take, Halloween does not make more than 90 million.
Oh, brother, what
No way.
Total?
No way.
North America?
Nope. Disagree.
Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to a very special two-part edition of Show Business. But this is the one that if you're at all in the horror community, this is one you're caring about, and you've seen the precursor. I guess I'll start with the arrogant one himself, Cecil from the horror show.
Hello. Thank you for having me, CP, and thank you for the most public call-out I have ever been a part of in my entire existence on this planet and on YouTube, which is saying a lot because I've been here for 5 years.
Listen, nobody has been so arrogant as to proclaim such things as you have.
And I love that here we are, literally 1 day away from early screenings, which, by the way, we are going to. Excited to see it, but you had to squeeze this in under the wire, and you're holding me to something that I said 4 months ago. Before the hype train had really picked up super big steam and everything. Come on.
Nobody. So we're graced. This is kind of a special edition. We're graced with a bunch of prominent horror YouTubers for the first time, I think, anywhere. Right, Barry? On any stream. Yes. Yep. The channel is Wolfman's Got Nards. Barry, say hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm from Glasgow, Scotland. If you don't understand me, then
Irish.
Tough. I'm Irish. Thanks for having me, CP.
No, thank you. I've been meaning to get you on here, if only just to be a movie nerd and math, and you're the only other guy that I know that really gets into this silly number stuff.
The Rain Man stuff.
yeah, the Rain Man stuff. And the heaviest hitter as far as the Halloween content, chugging that. Actually, you know what? You guys are pretty neck and neck lately. Cody Leach.
Yes, sir.
Daily.
Glad to be back. the daily video lazy shit.
Oh, yeah. Get off your ass and make those 25-minute videos every day.
Inside joke, people. Inside joke.
And Brian Lomax, who probably has been on this channel more than anybody else here. Brian.
Gooey.
And lastly but not leastly, it's Dino from the Late Late Horror Show. Dino, I can't see you, so please act like I can.
Evening all. Glad to be here, CP.
Good evening. So the reason we're here is to talk about the big movie this weekend. The Hate You Give is opening on 27th. No. Halloween is opening this weekend. So Cecil, I'll give you the ground since you're complaining so much about having 4 months, and why don't you go ahead and plead your case?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, that video that you just saw that was completely propagandized, that is not entirely representative of my current thoughts. That is representative of my thoughts at the time, but that is before I really, and scoff all you will, Mr. Leach, but that is before the real Halloween hype train had kicked in, especially with the most recent trailers, both international and everything else, and the fact that now the everyone on YouTube has been focusing on it too, so it's only been thrust further into the spotlight.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
So is the stream off or not? Is this off or not?
Here's what I'm saying is my opinion has evolved since then. However, as a man willing to stand by my word, in such a fashion that I will say I will be making, if my original prediction of 60 million domestic and 90 million all over, which I'm not entirely certain one of them is wrong, but I'm pretty certain the other one is wrong. If that happens, then I will be making a consequence video of my own. And I will be using CP's little forerunner there as the intro to the video. But yeah, I do have a consequence sort of lined up for myself. It'll be not necessarily Michael Bay in its scope, but it will be operatic. I'll say that. So I already have a plan in mind. So yes, I will be facing consequences if those original predictions do not come to pass. However, my predictions have changed slightly since then. Slightly. I do mean slightly. There's a website called Box Office Pro that is forecasting 60 to 85 this weekend. Okay. And their name is Box Office Pro. Okay. I mean, granted, Hillary was supposed to win the election 2 years ago, so there's that numbers. So since I said 60, does that mean I'm a box office pro? Yes, if you want to take that, sure. Barry, as somebody who's representative of 33% of perhaps the reason that there is so much hype behind this movie, give me your perception on the hype, because you guys aren't really. I don't know. Is the marketing different over there?
Well, yeah, marketing is a lot different for movies in the UK. We've obviously got a lot less screens in the UK as well. And I think this is the first time I remember Halloween being so advertised in the UK. Like, when I was younger, I was only old enough to see Resurrection and Above in the cinema. And I don't remember seeing that much hype for H2O, Resurrection, or even the Rob Zombie remakes. The last three movies I went to see in the cinema, Halloween has been shown in a trailer before them. And that's never happened before. In fact, I've never seen a Halloween trailer in the cinema before. So the advertisements is a lot bigger for Halloween, and I think it is because of Blumhouse. I don't think it's got anything else to do with it. I think Blumhouse are really good with the marketing, especially for horror films. So I think that with the advertising in the UK and all around the world, I'm guessing, because I know that a lot of countries are doing different international trailers for Halloween, I think that we're going to see a bigger intake this time round, way bigger than Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah, so it's above our head, or it's to our screen left. The highest grossing Halloween film without adjustments is Rob Zombie's at 58, which, I mean, as you saw in the video that I played before, I think 58 is pretty fair to assume this weekend.
Yeah.
Cody, you want to take it away with that? Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ed?
But yeah, I mean, this thing, it's been a monster so far. I mean, this is, even just in the horror community, it's been a monster. But outside of that, I mean, the few people around my place of occupation that know that I have a YouTube channel, whenever Halloween gets brought up, like, hey, what you been doing? Oh, I've been doing the Halloween movies. Oh man, that new one's coming. And you could tell when you talk to people that aren't really horror fans, You know, and when you start talking about Halloween 4 and Jamie Lloyd, and they're like, I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was in all of them. And, if you talk about Halloween 3, my God, like, what? There was one without Mike? Like, you can tell. I've talked with a lot of people who are not horror fans that cannot wait to see Halloween. And that's the appeal that a movie like this has. Because everybody, whether you're a horror fan, whether you hate horror, you know who Michael Myers is. You know what Halloween is. The timing of it coming out in October. You know, people kind of craving a really good classic slasher movie because we don't get too many of them anymore. Certainly don't get too many good ones. All the hype coming out with the trailers, which we saw last year, to arguably a bigger degree with It. And then all the publicity they've been getting with like the Rotten Tomato scores and the early screenings and everything. I mean, that's kind of a big deal nowadays. People used to not give a fuck what the critics said. Now that Rotten Tomato score is like gold all of a sudden. 85, oh my God, we gotta go see it. So you add all that shit together, I mean, this thing's, it's sky's the limit for this thing.
Brian,
hello.
As somebody who's not too into it, and also on the other side of the pond there, how has this been? What's it like on the Brian Lomax radar this last Halloween?
It's pretty big on my radar actually, because I am a fan, probably more casual than a lot of others, but I really love the original. I really like Part 4, and I also really like H2O. I remember the hype for H2O. There was a fair bit because it was coming off the back of Scream and that whole success of the slasher film kind of being revitalized. And so, yeah, we went into that pretty excited. And this feels a little bit similar, but on a much bigger level. And I think that's mainly down to the fact that horror's kind of had a bit of a resurgence lately. And it's not just riding on the crest of a wave of one particular type of horror movie. When H2O came out, it was the crest was slasher. That's it. And yeah, and I know he did last summer, Urban Legend, all them kind of films. Now we've got companies like A1, Blumhouse. What's the other one?
A24 does some too.
Sorry, A24. That was the one I was about. They're making not just horror films that appeal to horror fans, but horror films that have become critical darlings. Horror films that have become Oscar-nominated movies. Blumhouse, who's responsible for Halloween, being the prime candidate with Get Out last year. So, yeah, I think there's never been a better time, both critically and commercially, I don't think, to release a comeback, so to speak. And I think it's in the right hands that is the more important thing. I think if this were in the hands of like Michael Bay, who gave us Platinum. If this was in the hands of Platinum Dunes, who as far as I'm concerned, haven't had a great track record.
Distributed A Quiet Place. They distributed A Quiet Place.
You can distribute all the shit you want, but if you didn't make it, if you're not the one making the decisions that go into production, it doesn't mean a thing. These guys, Blumhouse, these are the ones who are making actual creative decisions when it, that affects how the film, the end product comes out. And so far, Blumhouse have had a track record that is pretty damn good. So, I think that's what's going in its favour more than anything, really. You stick that name on things, you've already got people's attention. To
piggyback what Brian is saying, Dino, you're a bit of a pro now with the show business stuff. The writing's on the wall as far as just normal box office is concerned. You had the heavy hitters with Venom and A Star Is Born for 2 weeks, and now there's this valley, and it's just a perfect storm for Halloween. What do you think?
Well, yeah, you stole my word there.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep valley, and I think it is a perfect storm. It's the perfect opportunity to bring something like this back. We've got new generations of fans, especially with the, like Brian said, the resurgence of horror somewhat here coming up. So it's just the perfect storm. I think what Hollywood is doing right now is setting these movies up to be released with nothing else really to, combat their box office appeal or anything like that. So the numbers are going to be there, like you said, Venom. I mean, I didn't expect 80 million, but anyways, especially with all the trouble and things that were going wrong with it, but. Just the perfect storm, man. I mean, I don't know what more to say except for I see big numbers. I think moms and dads are telling their kids about it, and it's just that generation gap. It's just all coming to a head. So
I like to not bloat it too much. I get a very Force Awakens type vibe from this. Like it's like a generational type horror film where
and look what's coming out this week. Nothing. I mean,
listen. The Hate You Give is a silent killer.
That's got 97% on Rotten
Tomatoes. Do not discount The Hate You Give with the message that movie is going for. That will pull some money.
Yeah, it will, but I don't think people who are like Hate You Give or Halloween. What are we gonna go see?
That might make about $7 million this weekend. I don't see big numbers for that movie, but we'll see.
Yeah. So Cecil. We were talking about this before we went live. So some comparable stuff to kind of every time Halloween comes out, every time they reset it, the other big two get involved. So Halloween in 2007, it opened to 26 million and grossed 58. The next one was Friday the 13th in 2009, which opened to 40 million and it grossed 65. Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010 opened to 33 million, but grossed 63. All those movies, none of them were like Halloween based, none around the holiday. We haven't had a Halloween for Halloween since I think 5. Does that play into any of your?
Yeah, all of it does. I mean, I wasn't looking at it quite like that because I wasn't around the holiday before, but yeah, absolutely it does. And, everything that you guys are saying, it's hard to determine exactly what's going to be coming out in June, around the time in October. So
we had the release date like in March. I don't know.
I understand, but everything else, you never know. Shit is shifting all the time. But anyway, I think it obviously will play a huge factor, and Dino's Valley will definitely play a factor as well. But I definitely don't think it's going to have. Here's the weird thing about it. I think the holiday aspect of it is going to offset what would have otherwise hampered it. So I don't think it would have, if it had come out in, say, August, like the Rob Zombie one did, I don't think it would have necessarily ended up with the legs that A Quiet Place had, because I don't think it has quite as similar of a broad appeal. Same with It. I don't think that I think the comparisons to It are completely erroneous, because the reason I feel like It did the numbers that it did was because the original It movie, or 90s whatever TV movie, was the basis for a ton of people's fear of clowns. And so it had so much more going for it than just another Halloween iteration. No one had seen It for, however many years in between the two. What's it, 30, 40, whatever it was? That's a huge difference. And yes, we haven't seen Jamie Lee in 20 years in the Halloween franchise, but, whatever, a little bit less considering Resurrection. But but anyway, yeah, I think it definitely, the placement couldn't be better. And the fact that it's going to have 2 full weekends running in October is absolutely gonna play a huge factor as well. So I got to be realistic about it at this point in time.
So as we film this, nobody here has seen Halloween, correct?
No.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're correct.
So Barry, do you think whether or not it's liked by critics plays at all into whether or not people go to see it?
It depends. Just just looking online there, the last big franchise movie that came out in October for a big franchise movie was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003. That went on to gross inflation 122 million US, which is 80 million back in 2003, and it was $28 million in its first weekend, and that's quite small compared to what it made overall. So I think that the first weekend, no matter what it makes in the first weekend, it's going to be a success. Depending on what it's going, how we see it, doesn't matter how the critics see it, because the critics already said it's good. Even if we think it's not that great, the second weekend's going to be over 50% dip. But then the third weekend's going into the Halloween weekend, so I don't think it's going to make much of a dip. So success, the success of the movie, I think it doesn't matter if we like it or not. I think over the 3-4 weeks, it's going to make a ton of money regardless.
Cody.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said before, like people care about that Rotten Tomatoes score a lot more nowadays. Like people used to care about what their friends said about the movie. Like, hey, did you see so and so? Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. Nowadays, I mean, even bring up a movie like, oh man, the critics are shitting all over Venom. You gonna go see that? And everybody's clued into it like the fucking weather.
They went and seen it though. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that if the critics' scores start to drop slightly, which they probably will, that it's going to sway horror fans too much. I think there's way too much hype and anticipation. But it's the people that just kind of see it as another Halloween movie, because there's still those people I was talking about that bring up like, hey, there's a new Halloween coming out. They still aren't really clued into what the story is with it. Like they still think it's a continuation of what came before. So there's still some gaps of understanding there, and they're just seeing a Halloween movie and people are saying it's good.
Well, I'm still wondering how they got Michael's head back on. That's
yeah, I know, right? 2018, possible.
Brian, do you think that Suspiria could somehow be a wild card in the long-term plans of this?
No, not at all.
I think Suspiria is going to have like a Blade Runner 2049 type thing.
Yeah, I do actually. I think it's going to die in its ass, to be honest. I think it's too artsy fartsy. I think it's too in the realm of surreal horror, and I just don't think the general audience is going to get it. Like you show a general audience member a Dario Argento film, they're going to no thanks, switch off.
Well,
there you go.
Of Argento movies, that's the one like I knew about Suspiria before I saw it. Like of the Argento movies, I knew about Suspiria. So do you think maybe the Namesake might drag it a bit? Like, or
what Namesake? What Namesake? That Namesake only applies to like proper hardcore horror fans.
Yeah.
You go to any member, you stand outside a cinema and ask people going in, what do you think of Suspiria? They'd be like, never heard of it. It's just
it's going to run into the same exact marketing flub that Blade Runner 2049 came into. The trailers are just showing visuals. They're just look how wild this looks, and it's not telling you anything about the story.
And even if you're a fan of the original and you see the trailers they're putting out,
different.
Yeah, very different.
They're vastly different, right?
As much as we hate those kind of trailers that show you everything, where they outline the entire plot in them, they flipping work because the general audience wants to know exactly what they're paying for. You know, they're laying down 10 quid for a ticket. They want to know beforehand what they're getting. It's sad but true. So yeah, I don't think Suspiria is going to do a damn thing, but I think the critical reaction, going back to what you were saying, the Rotten Tomatoes score, I think people like to say, oh, it doesn't mean anything, I don't take any notice of it. But it does. It really does. Because like when a film is coming out that you love, we all do it. We're all the first to say, oh, well, that Rotten Tomatoes score is well up there, isn't it? You know, if there's a film's coming out that we think, oh, it's going to be a lot of crap, and we want to crap on it, and the critics crap on it, we're like, yeah, see, look, I've not even seen it yet, but the critics are crapping all over it. It's like, it is. We use it as to defend our position, and then when it goes against our position, we're like, oh, I don't follow Rotten Tomatoes because it's all bollocks. It's what it is. critically rubbish, like we do care because otherwise critics wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't be doing this crap on YouTube because no one would care, but people do care. That's the sad.
I don't do anything on YouTube, for the record. Dino, do you have anything to add to 3 weeks in Suspiria and I'm trying to think what comes out the weekend of Halloween. Is there anything noteworthy that weekend? Yeah, Suspiria is this following weekend, the 24th, I thought.
26.
26. Oh yeah, so that. All right, okay. Never mind.
Am I the only one though who has kind of jumped ship with caring what critics think? Because there have been so many bad movies and critics have panned that I've gone and seen, and they're great. And then ones they've said are great, and I've went and gone and seen, and I'm like, this is shit. So I understand what you guys are saying, but me personally, which I guess I'm a kind of a different breed because I like old school cheesy shit movies. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I've turned my head towards critics and don't care what the hell they gotta say, and I'll make my own decision. There you go.
The complete collection, both troll movies.
But yeah, I think, needless to say, if they care about what the critics have to say or not for Halloween upcoming, again, it's the perfect storm. I think because it is Halloween and it's the holiday, you know what I mean? And nothing's there. It's not going to really affect it really too much. I think people are just going and going to go anyway. So. Yeah.
So I guess this is for the three of you that have 20+ K subscribers, Cecil, Barry, and Cody. As people have, you're pretty high. I'm a bottom feeder.
I'm 18.5 or 18.6, so take it away, Cecil.
All right, I'll get back in December.
Yeah.
So you guys have done a lot of Halloween content.
Mm-hmm.
Disparaging critics. What has been the temperature you're getting from the comment section as far as hype and intrigue?
Everyone can't wait for the new one. I haven't seen a single person like, I think the new one looks like shit, or the new one's going to fall in its face. Everyone that has commented about 2018 both can't wait for everybody's reviews and can't wait to see the movie. So I haven't heard anybody shitting on it or with doubts or anything. Everybody's pretty much full steam ahead.
Similar. Yeah.
Same.
I mean,
Barry?
Yeah, same here. Just I don't think we've had any negativity. Just all positives.
Yeah, it is strange. It is like the thing that puzzles me is normal audiences have seen it almost a month ago now. And granted, I'm not looking for it, but there hasn't been spoilers. There hasn't been, too much one way or another, which is really, really, in this day and age with social media, it's just really, I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I think that you're only going to get spoilers from people who are just flat out assholes. Like if you put out a chat, you're like, if anybody spoils the new movie in this comment section, I'm going to fuck you up. Within 5 minutes, you'd have one. But it's kind of the same treatment that I saw whenever The Force Awakens came out. It's kind of like everybody kind of understood, like, okay, let's not be assholes. Let's let everybody see the movie. Versus, if you have like Infinity War, within 5 minutes of the movie being out, everybody knows who dies. You know what I mean? It feels like everybody's kind of on board with everybody that's seen it as Halloween fanatics for the most part. Everybody kind of knows that this isn't really a movie to screw up for people, I think.
I guess part of it is that people paid a pretty penny to get into that screening too. So
yeah, that too.
I mean, not some clown who paid $500 and can be like, hey, guess what? This movie sucks.
Yeah.
See, I made the mistake of, in one of my videos, I said, please don't spoil it for anybody.
Oh.
And by saying that, you get the trolls rolling in. So I've had about 4 or 5 people spoil it. Well, potentially spoil it, telling me what the ending was. I deleted them from the channel, blocked them from the channel. But all 4 or 5 of them have said the similar ending to me. So I'm thinking, right.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's the thing. I almost say things for like a social experiment sometimes, because I've been passing pictures back and forth with Lee and CP and Lindsey and Brian all day long. On my last video, I was like, for Halloween 6, Lee has this fan cut, and I was talking about it. I was like, well, I'm not going to name any names about whose cut this is, and I've had like people like, the guy is Drum Dums, Lee from Drum Dums, Lee McCoy from Drum Dums. Like, his address is this.
Just remember, I was the one who told you.
Yeah, I'm clued in on the social circle. I know these things.
All right, so might as well get to brass tacks here and get our projections here. Cecil, I guess I'll call it jokingly, but I was pretty serious when I said we should wager. But you've said that if you're wrong, you'll make a video. I guess this question is,
this will be a separate thing from that.
Oh, okay. Are you guys down to have some sort of video wager where whoever wins gets an intro or something of some sort from everybody else, saying that this person knows what they're talking about, or something to that effect?
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So has everybody written? Brian, why don't you explain the idea, because I didn't know what the hell you were talking about, and maybe I still.
Well. So which ones are we going to do? We're going to do opening weekend,
and gross.
Then we're going to do the gross, the US gross, is it?
Right.
And then are we doing worldwide gross?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those three.
Yeah,
so
do those three, okay? So opening weekend, US only. Then gross for US, and then worldwide gross. So we'll write those figures down. You can do it. You can either do it one at a time, or we can do all three. And then when CP says go, we'll lift up our pieces of paper, what we've written the figures down on. Then there won't be any kind of messing about saying, oh well he only changed it because I put that, or you get my meaning. So
yeah, sure. All right, so we're having three numbers: opening, US gross, and worldwide.
Yeah, maybe do opening weekend first. So if we all write down our figures for opening weekend, what we think it's going to be, and then CP, you give the nod, and we'll all lift our pieces of paper.
Shall return.
And Cody, So maybe he's getting paper. So I wrote my three already. Cecil, did you get all that? Dino, you get that?
Yeah,
I got it.
I'm trying to think of the worldwide. I wasn't prepared for worldwide. Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
My cat
have
just
you
knocked out my earphones.
Have you written them separately, or are they all on the same?
I wrote them all on the same paper, but I got fingers. I can cover the other two.
Okay.
Will
Barry,
we give our reasons why?
Oh, separately. Okay.
Sure. Barry, what do you know about? At least fill me in on what it's looking like over there in the UK, Europe, I guess, because I've seen a ton of movies in Denmark that were just as relevant. So what's, as a fellow movie math nerd, what's the temperature as far as Europe is concerned?
Well, we wouldn't go by Europe. We would just go by rest of the world.
International.
Yeah, international.
Pretty frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rest of the world and China. Okay. All right. So, what's the rest of the world? Anything on that?
Would you want me to give my figure, or do you want me just to talk about it?
Yeah. What have you heard? If you've heard anything, not your figure, just
Not heard anything. Nothing at all. There's, like I said, there's only 3 overseas figures that we've actually got access to, and that is Halloween Resurrection, which was $7 million international. We've got Halloween Rob Zombie, which is $22 million overseas, and Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie, which is $6 million overseas. So take those figures and have a think.
Yeah, those are all. I mean, those aren't even adjusted for inflation either, right? Because H2O, $6 million, that's got to be like 12 now.
No, there is no H2O figures.
Oh, what was the third one you said?
The third one was Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie.
Oh, Zombies Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are 3 strong Halloween movies, let me tell you. Resurrection, Rob Zombie 1 and 2.
So that might put people off overseas.
Yeah, I would imagine Europeans not really getting the whole motherfucking every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes? That's generous.
All right, so Cody, do you have your numbers down?
Not quite yet. So we're doing opening weekend, domestic total, and worldwide total?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about the chat. Wow, 27 people, and it's pretty lively. Hello, Beth. What's up?
I was just saying to Cody, we're just going to show our opening weekend first.
Close that door. Breaking.
Oh, yeah, Dino, you're going to have to tell us what your stuff is because we can't see it.
Right. Oh, well, they can on the screen.
Yeah, they can on the stream.
Yeah, the stream they can.
Yeah. So the viewers will be clued in on what Dino's picks.
Yeah, all of mine are written down, so I'm good to go.
All right. Mine are written down.
All right, we're all good?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good.
All right, so on the count of 3, we're just doing the opening weekend.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
68, 75, 80.
Who's got 80? Brian does. Okay.
Brian has 80. We have a tie between Dino and Barry for 68. Cody's got...
I got 68 also.
No,
Yeah,
I
Barry
got
does
75. Cody's got 75.
Cody and Dino have 75. I have 78. So the consensus here is low 68, high 80. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Rickshaw Randy. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, Tony. The Rickshaw Randy got pushed back. Maybe next weekend we'll be talking about those.
Hard for you, Barry.
So
say them again. I had 75. Cody 75. Brian had 68.
No, I had
Brian
80.
Brian's the
80.
top right
Okay,
there.
80. And
You have the answers?
No.
I'm 78.
Okay.
Barry and Cecil are 66.
68.
68, excuse me.
Really? Okay.
Cody and Dino are 75, and I'm 70. All right, so we'll start low. Cecil, you still managed to be the low, so go ahead. You said 60 in like a miracle scenario, so you've adjusted that.
I did adjust it slightly, yes. I think 68 is going to be fair. Again, it's that valley that Dino mentioned that you brought up as well. Like I think that's what's going to play the biggest factor for opening weekend. The fact that we haven't really had anything really filling the gap since The Nun, really, that has really got that hype behind it. So I do think, but I just don't think it's enough that it's gonna. I was like debating between 68, 74, 68, 74, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stick. My gut is telling me 68, so I'm gonna stick with it.
And for the record, Nun opened to 53 million.
It's gonna do better than that because I think the nostalgia value alone will carry it higher than The Nun, but.
Right.
And the hype and the ratings and the trailers.
I said that alone will do it, plus the other stuff.
Oh, no, I wasn't correcting you. I was just adding.
Did I just show you as well earlier when I was writing? I actually scribbled out 68 million, but I still think 80. To be honest, I really
collective unconscious.
All right, yeah. So half of us were thinking 68 at one point. Barry, you want to let us in as to why so low?
Well, for one thing, it's not low.
No, I know.
If it makes 68 million, that will still be the second highest grossing horror movie of all time in its first weekend.
Really?
Yeah, it was first, 123 million. The Nun is now second with 53 million. So if it makes over 53 million, in its first weekend, it will be the second highest grossing horror movie in its first weekend. So 68, that's almost 7 times its budget. So 60 is still huge for Halloween.
My argument to that is that The Nun was, by all accounts, a turd fest. I imagine many others didn't even go to see it because all the reviews were bad. And that's not just like critics from, you get on Rotten Tomatoes, but I mean like YouTubers. Like all my friends who saw it and who made reviews on it all said it ain't worth it. It's rubbish. It's not. So yeah, I would imagine if that film would have been, hey, this is as good as The Conjuring, it's up there, best of the franchise, I reckon that figure would have been significantly higher. So
you're right, Brian. Word of mouth did kill that movie, but it's still almost double that opening weekend right now. Exactly. As we talk, it's 116 domestic. So I mean that's The Nun, which wasn't really received well.
Exactly.
And Halloween's open up to less screenings as well. It's got 3,700 screens in the US.
Oh my God, you're so perfect for this show.
Yeah. the Nun opened to 3,876, I believe. So
this is information I didn't have.
So it's going to open to 68.
So who's next? Cody 75, which is on the low end, surprisingly.
Well, I would like to see a lot more than that. I hope I'm wrong as hell. Like, I'd like to see 85, 90, but I still see a lot of people going to see Venom. And you guys laugh, but I really think that The Hate You Give is going to take a certain small chunk away from it just because of the nature of that movie, the trailers. I mean, I've been in the theaters when those trailers play, and you feel the reaction of a certain demographic with the message going for that movie. So whether
you're saying if Busta Rhymes was in this movie, Hate You Give would just be obliterated.
Well, Little Bird told me he is. but no. So I do think that you're going to get a little bit of that cross marketing thing where someone's going to walk in, Halloween's going to be damn near sold out, you're going to have a couple seats in the front row, and they're going to go, okay, well, I'll just see The Hate You Give. I'll see Halloween next week during Halloween. So I think that those are going to drop it slightly, but I think it's going to make up for it with legs.
Dino, you're with Cody on the 75 train.
Yeah, pretty much same thing. I was going earlier at a little bit higher, but I did bring it down a little bit. Yeah, so I believe 75. I think Venom and A Star Is Born is still going to, not drop off all that much. And, people are still going to see those two movies too. So I'm not with them on I get the message of the movie that's coming out, The Hate You Give, but I still don't see it getting any numbers. But I could be wrong.
It'll be big on the coasts.
Right.
Who states?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm next with 78. Everything you guys are talking about, I'm pretty much with you.
Thanks for going just 3 million over and up above us. So yeah,
we all
appreciate
wrote
that. I know.
I'm
joking.
I'm
joking.
CP's the asshole on Price is Right. The best $1.
Yeah,
$1. So I sort of agree with you, and then I don't. Somebody who's going to see A Star Is Born is not going to be at all thinking about Halloween. So whatever Star Is Born money is going to happen this weekend, that's going to happen regardless. It could be Halloween. It could be, I don't know, Incredibles 3. Like, A Star Is Born is its own little thing. Venom, on the other hand, I think Venom's going to take a hit because you're going to have some 20-somethings that would have wanted to see Venom, and do I want to watch a whatever superhero movie again this year, or do I want to watch this Halloween thing? So I think some of that crazy Venom money we saw a couple weeks ago is going to go right into Halloween. But I wasn't the highest one, Brian. 80. What's with all the confidence?
I just think that this is a perfect storm kind of situation. I don't think that Halloween or any slasher franchise for that matter, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, you look when they did those remakes and they brought them out, none of them were in what I see here as the perfect storm situation. And they were remakes. People remakes. This is a direct sequel that goes back to the original. You know, it brings the original people. You even got John Carpenter's name involved in this. It's like, you know, it's with a great company house, very good reputation. It's actually being released around Halloween, which, you know, like me and my mate seen all of the cast at the cinema together, and we were always like, why aren't these released at Halloween? It's ridiculous. It's called Halloween.
They do release Friday the 13th around Friday the 13th. That is funny.
Yeah, I just think now is the time. If this ain't gonna do it, then consider these 80s slasher horror icons pretty much, because I don't foresee a situation as good as it is right now.
Repeat that last sentence.
I see a situation for releasing this kind of movie being as good as it is right now. Also, you've got the whole Stranger Things effect. So many movies right now are harking back to the 80s. People love it because the kids who want to go and see these movies, and there's no bigger icon than Mike Myers. And it's like Rob Zombie. One, he remade it right off the bat. People don't like remakes.
Rob Zombie.
Keep losing your voice, Brian.
Is Brian dropping in and out for everybody else?
Yeah. I don't see the chat saying anything about it yet, so I don't know if it's going through on the video, but it's definitely, I get like every fifth word.
Yeah. I read your lips. I saw it's Rob Zombie.
So it was a crap film. It didn't do well critically. You got a big, and yet it still made quite a bit of money, considering everything was going against it in the way that everything is going for this new Halloween.
Yeah.
So for
late August is a really bad time for movies.
So yeah.
The chat's saying the same thing about Brian's microphone.
Balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might be all right now, but yeah, go ahead, CP.
So another thing with the big tentpole, the franchises, this is the longest we've gone without any of the big three. It's been 8 years, and even when they remade Halloween, that was only 5 years after Resurrection, and then Freddy and Jason soon followed. But this is the longest we've gone since.
That's why I was talking about the generation gap thing, because I'm an old schooler and I love the originals of all the iconic, horror icons. But I have a teenage daughter right now she's just getting into them, and those kids are talking about this right now. So that's what I see, maybe and hoping to bring back that popularity again. So that's just what I'm seeing around me. So.
All right. So now we're going to show our second pick, which is U.S. gross. This is gross is only in the U.S. Whenever you guys are ready.
U.S. gross.
Yep.
Say when.
1, 2, 3, go. Oh, all right. We got 144, 140, 200, 155. I have 130.
Snap.
Dino, what do you have?
189.
Okay. All right. So I'm the low man here. 130. So, Dino, did you write all those down?
No, I did not.
I have to talk first. So 130 was me. Who was 140 was Cody, right?
Yep.
Somebody was. I'm sorry. Show them again, or just tell me yours.
I'm 144.
144 is Cecil. I know Brian's probably the top with 200, right? With 200?
200.
My.
Dino, you're 189?
Yep.
And I'm missing Barry's.
165.
155. Okay, so 130. This is just old school math, which I should have learned my lesson doing this show, that old school math is gone lately.
Yes.
But old school math is screaming at me. Friday the 13th, when it came out in 2009, 40 million and it grossed 65. Like, it made most of its money opening weekend. Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010, 33. It only grossed 63. It made half of its money opening weekend.
Remakes with bad reviews.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I really think it's a 2-week thing where it could do 78 and cut that in half. That's I'll call it 30, 108, and then just trickle down. I mean, I'm saying 78 opening weekend and then like 30 next weekend, but after that, I think the November stuff like really kind of gets, because then you have the
Oscar pictures, Creed, Bohemian Rhapsody.
There's that girl with the dragon's tattoo. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of shit in November. So I think if it's gonna make its money, it's gonna be in this next 2 weeks. So that's why I have 30. I
have the similar justification for why I put 140. I'm hoping it's going to do 140 just because going through the Halloween weekend, and even though it does have a lot of heavy hitters coming in November, it doesn't really have any direct competition. So if anybody, for whatever reason, didn't see it in October, there's not really any big horror movies coming out, and I'm not counting Suspiria because we've already said reasons why. There's not really any direct horror competition coming out for the rest of the year that I know of. So I think it could hang around in that top 10 for quite a while.
Yep. I will say that my figures are based purely on the film being good. I think it is going to be good. I think it's, and if it is as good as I hope it's going to be, then I think that's what's going to give it legs, particularly with the horror fans.
Not to shit on your head, Brian, but A Quiet Place had rave reviews and it only grossed 188. But you know,
A Quiet Place doesn't have a built-in fan base franchise behind it. It's like with it. It's Stephen King, you know. Right off the bat, you've got a built-in audience with Stephen King. You make a very good adaptation. That audience is repeat business.
Oh yeah.
You know, with this, you've got a built-in audience that isn't quite as big as a Stephen King built-in audience. But if this film is good, again, you've got repeat business. Zombies Halloween did not get repeat business from it. If this is good, if it's on the level with the first one, the kind of sequel I want, it's going to get repeat business from me, and likewise with other Halloween fans.
I think it's safe to say that Rob Zombie's Halloween got skull-fucked by repeat business. Cecil, 144, take it away.
Well, first, I just want to say I just don't. I don't see the connection to A Quiet Place because I think A Quiet Place reached a demographic that Halloween will not. Which is the older audience that just heard of how emotional the movie was.
Yeah.
That is something that Halloween is not going to get. And people went and saw it, and then they were like, "Oh my God, I cried in a creature movie." And it just had something that Halloween is not going to have. Yes, Halloween has the brand recognition that A Quiet Place doesn't, but A Quiet Place had the sort of deeper sort of storytelling aspect and character development that I can pretty much guarantee Halloween will not have. So I think there's a trade-off there that has to be taken into account. But my 144 is I just think that I think it's going to do a little bit better. I said 90 originally. Yeah. 4 months ago. But I say 144 now because I think that I don't think it's going to drop 50% week 2. I think it's going to drop maybe 35.
I agree with that.
I think it's going to carry through Halloween. It's going to get numbers there. I mean, it just was so positioned perfectly that I think it's going to it's not going to limp like I initially said. In that video, if you continued watching it that he clipped from, I did say it'll limp across 100 if anything.
Did you edit that video, CP?
Oh, I did. I Michael Moore'd the fuck out of that.
Yeah. But I did say it would limp across 100 if anything. I disagree with that now, but I do think it could limp up to 144. I feel like that's where it's gonna head. Plus, I like forts.
Honestly, the only thing I see working against it, and like I pointed out earlier about people that aren't like real clued into the horror community. Some people are going to see that trailer, and even if it's good, they're going to think it's just another Halloween movie. So that's the only thing I see working against it is the people that aren't real invested are going to go, I can see a Halloween movie at home.
Which we had that when we saw The Nun, I think, and there was a couple next to us, and the girlfriend. I don't know what their age was. I just know there were a couple with us seeing The Nun, and the Halloween trailer came on, and the girlfriend leaned over, and I didn't hear what she said, and he leaned over to her and said, "It's the one with Michael Myers," and I was like, "Ooh, she doesn't know what Halloween is." So there's that. Barry, 155.
Yeah, I think that it's going to eat up the box office for the first 3 weeks. That's where it's going to make its most money. I think I've put down 68 for the first week, 115 in total for the second, 135, 142, and I think it's just going to trickle out after Halloween because nobody really wants to see a Halloween movie. Not nobody, but the general public don't want to see a Halloween movie in November. So I just think that in October it's going to make all its money or most of its money. And again, 155 million US alone is massive. You know, that's almost 3 times as much as Rob Zombie's before inflation. So 155, I think that's in the middle of what you guys are saying. A little bit higher than some of you, a little bit lower than others. So 155.
And then we have a little bit of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm done.
And we got a little bit of a jump. Dino, 189. Yeah.
No. Again, I'm trying to be on my best behavior here, CP, but anyways, I'm watching what I say. But no, I think it's going to...
what does that mean?
You dumb fuck.
Yeah.
No, the movie itself, I'm putting that aside. I'm just saying...
you're tired of the hype.
What numbers... And, you see, people are going to hate me. I think this is going to be an average Halloween movie. I don't think there's going to be nothing very spectacular about it, but let's see. But anyways, the numbers, I think it's going to do great for the first 3 weeks, just like everybody else said. I think it's going to have a slow decline, though. I think it's going to keep going, throughout till the holiday, till Christmas season. That's just my thoughts.
Now, you predicting that crazy rich Asian type taper off? Is that what you're predicting?
A little bit. But I think it will hold and slowly creep away, and those are my thoughts on it. So,
all right. And Brian, we heard your sentiments already with your 200 million. Listen, as a Friday the 13th fan, I pray Halloween makes 200 million domestic because that means we're getting all the big boys back.
Oh, another thing, real quick too. I just the YouTube generation too. There's so many kids out there and teenagers and people who are going to. The whole family's going to see. I couldn't tell you how many teenagers, and just because I got a daughter, but my young son was watching Never Hike Alone on YouTube, and I'm like going, "What are you watching?" You know, and he's going, "Oh, it's Jason Voorhees." I'm like, "You're freaking 10 years old. What are you doing?" You know what I mean? But
it's too late. If you ask me.
Right. But nevertheless, the horror icons are just like they're like that hot girl or hot boyfriend that. Is great, but looks good and everything else. But when you take them out, it's just a crappy old time. And no matter what,
isn't that what horror is, though? For the most part, I mean, there's a few gems, but for the most part, horror is a.
I'm OG horror icons all the way. Everything after the first movies, pretty much. This is where I kind of differ in opinions with everybody else. But like I said, I'm a different breed. It's not that I don't appreciate everybody's love for new horror,
Well, Dino, as a movie fan, it's there goes Barry with troll again. It's hard to argue. I mean, I think maybe as a great film, you might have in the three franchises, you might have 2 great films, and that's Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
Like as far as a in a book that you must see this movie. So it's a genre. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian. I didn't mean to.
Oh no, we had his diatribe. Now we're on to Worldwide because now we're cutting into the second show. Wow. Worldwide, I don't have to cover this up anymore. Yep. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, 324, 200, 245. Brian, I can't see yours.
Oh, sorry.
No, higher. 580.
Whoa!
Holy ships and Google. Holy.
Take a that mistake.
All right, so 245.
What was Dino's?
I'm 260. 260.
260. All right, so 245.
Wow, Brian.
70.
Yeah, I'm thinking 480 to be honest, not 580.
Is that
580.
China?
Wait, there's one.
Take over.
Yeah, China's gonna steamroll. Wait, I have 245, 260, 270, and 580. I'm missing one.
324.
324. Thank you, Cecil. So who had 200?
Me.
All right, go ahead, Cody.
I was looking at some numbers. I don't see very much love for slasher movies overseas. I see that supernatural movies tends to be the ones that blow up overseas. I know China doesn't allow ghost, so as long as it doesn't have ghosts in it, it tends to kind of be very successful. But I looked at different slasher franchises, and it doesn't really seem to do a whole lot over there. So I'm banking that a lot of our money is going to come from us over here in the U.S., and I hope I'm wrong, but that's just me being cautiously optimistic. But I got to head out, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Cody. And Cody Leach is the channel.
Oh, geez, this might mess up all of the windows here, but.
All right, so go ahead, Cody. It's all right. They've seen our faces long enough. You want to do it?
If you guys want to do it really quick, I mean, I can stay out for like 5 more minutes.
Yeah, we can wrap it up because we got the second half coming up anyway. So all right. So that 245. Who's 245?
Me.
Go ahead, Barry. As somebody who's in the international audience.
Yeah, well, I'd say 90 million international, so it's 245 in total. I think it's 90 million because even though the other 3 movies only made 6 million or it's 8 million or whatever, I think because of Blumhouse and their advertising, that's the reason that I think it's going to make quite a lot, because we've got Happy Death Day that made quite a lot internationally. As bad as it probably was, Truth or Dare made quite a bit, not a lot, I think it was like 35 million or something international.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. So I think that internationally, 90 million, I think that's generous for a Halloween movie, but because it's Blumhouse, I'm pushing the numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
260, Dino.
Yeah,
actually, you know what?
I'll make it easy. It's just everything that Cody said. I agree 100%. That's it.
Yeah, I said 270. Same shit as Dino. If you really want to hear us talk about it, join us in the second hour. There's a teaser for you. Cecil, 324.
I wrote it down before Barry had his little note about the international stuff in the past, and I only know domestic. I don't really pay attention to international, so I was just kind of throwing a number out there.
Who cares about the rest of the world? America first. And Brian with that bloated 580. Let me tell you, if it does a 580, we're getting a Halloween TV series. We're getting
China's putting on 6,000 screens.
Really quick, Brian.
Well, I'll see you in my introduction video for the winner of this thing. So.
All right. So, Cody, other than Halloween, or you want to go ahead and plug your Halloween stuff? What's coming up on Cody Leach?
Yeah, I'm balls deep in the Halloween series right now. I've got Halloween H2O that I dropped earlier today. I'm going to be dropping Resurrection shortly after I get off of this stream. Then 2 more movies and the brand new one, which, if the stars align, I'm going to be seeing extremely late Wednesday, Thursday morning, and then get my review out sometime morning, afternoon of Thursday. Then I'm probably going to take a couple days break because I've been doing a video a day, but then I'm going to try to do Trick or Treat, the 80s metal horror movie, and then Trick or Treat, the big one that everybody loves, the anthology film. I'm going to try to at least get those 2 out in the last week closer to Halloween. And then we have, I got ranking videos, obviously, with Halloween once the new one comes out. And then we have our video, all 31 films from Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street that me, CP, Brian, Lee, maybe Mother Mayhem, you guys are more than welcome to join into. But Halloween Day, that's kind of the big thing that we've been putting together for a while. So look forward to that.
Barry, Wolfman's got nards.
Yeah, I think this month, obviously, it's going to be Halloween heavy, because it's been Halloween heavy for 6 months. And I'm going to be doing reviews for horror movies that I've never seen before, big horror movies that I've never seen. For instance, The Shining, Near Dark, In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness. So big films that you would expect horror fans to have seen. I've not seen, so I've saved them for this year. So looking forward to doing reviews for them.
That's awesome. Cecil.
Yeah, we actually just got back from Halloween Horror Nights and the Halloween 40th celebrations, so we are going to be rolling out like 15 episodes, including walkthroughs of every maze. And then we've got our typical 2 episodes a day, including, you know, updated trailer reactions. We're going to be finishing our Halloween review series. We're seeing the movie tomorrow, so we will be putting up our review shortly after that, and then doing a larger spoiler review over the weekend. And then I've actually got a little something in the works with both CP, and then a little something in the nascent stages with Cody as well. So yeah, so yeah, got a lot of good stuff coming up on the Horror Show channel.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a channel.
Yeah, I got a channel. No, I got a couple of channels. So I've got a Psycho 2 video essay coming over on Movie Evangelist, and I will be reviewing Psycho 2, 3, and 4 at some point on my regular channel, Paranormal Movie Talk. And yeah, we got the ranking videos. Oh, come on.
Guys, you're making a spectacle of this.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, 3 different masks.
And was that the end of your plug? That's awesome.
Barry for the win.
Yeah. So Dino and I will give our normal nonsense at the end of hour 2. If you want to join us for our regularly scheduled show business, that will be starting. We're gonna shut down and take a pee break, maybe 5-10 minutes. But we'll be back in a little bit. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.